Second episode opens with the title card, Circle Sewn with Fate, Unlock Thy Hidden Gate. The scene cuts to Agatha hurriedly preparing to flee before the Salem Seven turn up. She tells Teen, who is still tied up and gagged, "The house is yours, random boy. Be sure to tell the vengeance seekers I said hi." He manages to remove the tape covering his mouth, asking Agatha to take him to the Witch's Road, the magical pathway only sorcerers can cross. She tells him it doesn't exist, but he replies, "That's just what real witches say to keep the amateurs out. The road will give you the thing you want the most, if you make it to the end. And I can. I will." She questions how he knows so much about it, leading Teen to make a confession. "I know an egregious amount about you. I've been obsessed since I first read up on your Salem days, one of my favorite you eras. This is also the reason he saved her from the spell she was under in Agatha All Along, Episode 1. But Agatha's still not convinced. "If you've got the goods to break a spell by the Scarlet Witch, why do you need the road?" she says. He explains that while he's studied magic a lot, he wants powers, stating, "The road promises that what's missing awaits you at the end. Power is what I'm missing." Sounds like it's what you're missing too. Agatha thinks it's too risky. When she gets up to leave, however, she's stopped in her tracks when she spots her missing pendant on the floor, opening it to reveal the lock of hair inside. "Who are you?" she asks, but when he responds, his name is censored by a mysterious shield covering his mouth. As fans will know, the most prominent theory is that Locke's character is Billy Kaplan, the reincarnated son of the Scarlet Witch, but Episode 2 is yet to reveal his identity. Agatha urges him to repeat his name, and again a squiggle forms across his mouth when he says it. This interesting little mystery is enough to convince Agatha to bring the teen along for the ride, to the road. To access it, they're going to need a coven, which in the MCU world is described as a group of witches drawn together by mysterious forces of fate. As they drive out of Westview, Agatha explains, in her usual snarky way, a covenstead rule. Within any 3-mile radius, there will be a collection of witchy enough people to form a coven. "All we need is a bit of talent," she says. "Even the most down-and-out witches, when in close proximity with each other, bring out a magical spark." Their first stop? A psychic shop, where Agatha wants to test the waters for some talent. When they enter, they come across Lilia Calderu. Since Lilia knows of Agatha's reputation, she doesn't want to get involved. "I didn't read your fortune. I read your reputation," she says. "Witches like you are the reason people think we poison apples and steal children and eat babies." Always having a quip for everything, Agatha interjects, "Babies are delicious." Although her pitch isn't going well, Lilia is at the very least intrigued when Agatha mentions the road. Even so, Lilia is hesitant. She theorizes Agatha will lead her across the path to steal her powers. But Agatha explains that the only way for her to do so would be if she blasts her with her magic. In her closing argument, Agatha points out the eviction notice on Lilia's door. Right now, her life is leading nowhere. "Join me and return to your former clairvoyant glory," she says. When Lilia turns them away, her powers kick in and she manifests a list of 4 names destined to make up the coven. After the electrifying spell, she says, 3 of Pentacles, a tarot card that aptly represents teamwork and collaboration. She hands Agatha the list, suggesting that she can leave her alone now. One slight problem, though. Lilia's name is on there, too. Teen hands over Agatha's address, telling Lilia to get there for 5 p.m. On the way out, Agatha spots a crow in the parking lot, and for some mysterious reason, it perturbs her. Next on the list is yet another sorcerer Agatha has beef with, Jennifer Kale. When she rocks up to Jen's Goop-style wellness store, it looks like the feeling is mutual. Agatha cuts to the chase. "I'm assembling a coven. I need a potions guy. We're gonna walk the road." Much like Lilia, she's not convinced. And much like Lilia, Agatha's got a reason up her sleeve to convince her to join the coven. Apparently, Jen's been trapped in a binding spell that has left her magicless for the past century. After a little prodding, Jen reveals she's desperate to get her powers back. But she's still not entirely convinced, given the road's deadly reputation. Teen's on hand to remind Jen, however, that she's currently drowning in class action lawsuits after one of her products led to hundreds of customers getting superficial burns. A little reminder that her options are prison or joining them is all they need for that final push. They leave Jen with the time, address, and a lot to think about, and now it's on to their final witch. Actually, their third visit is to a blood witch, aka the child of a witch. In this case, it's Alice Wu Gulliver, another sorcerer in the Marvel Comics, and the daughter of Lana Wu, the singer of a famous rock band. The pair head to the mall to find her, and yet another animal unsettles Agatha, this time a rat. They head into a Hot Topic style store where Agatha tells Teen about a rumor that Alice's mom was lost to the Witch's Road. Once again, the pair work together to intercept their target, staging a fake robbery that leads to Alice getting fired. As they try to convince her to join them as their protector, Alice says she doesn't even believe the road is real and was just made up by her mom for a song called The Ballad. Agatha says if she joins them, she'll finally be able to find out what happened to her mother. But she's seemingly not interested, walking away before Teen can hand her the address. Agatha decides they don't need Alice, and they drive home. Along the way, she asks Teen where he's from, but as soon as he gets into the details, his voice is censored again. At home, Agatha is back in all of her witchy glory, and she strides out confidently, only to be confronted by a wolf. She heads back inside, and the coven all arrive, including Alice, who had no trouble finding the address thanks to her past as a cop. Agatha immediately tries to get going, but they insist they need a green witch. "Says who?" remarks Agatha, to which Jen replies, "The Ballad. Wake thy power earthly and divine. Earth magic is arguably the most important skill set for an attempt at the road." Lilia reveals there was a fourth entry to the list, only instead of a name, it was a black heart, a reference to Rio Vidal. After the way things were left with Rio, she's not taking any chances, and instead brings over poor old Sharon Davis. Agatha brings them down to the basement, where they'll conjure up the road. Once they've banished Teen upstairs, they begin by singing The Ballad, which should open up the portal needed to get there. However, as they sing from the top of their lungs, Teen notices something creepy. 7 hooded figures approaching the house. It looks like the Salem 7 have arrived, which would explain why Agatha's been so troubled by animals all day. In Agatha All Along, the 7 can take on animal form, and it seems she may have known this was the warning sign of their arrival. As the Salem 7 approach ever closer to the house, Teen barricades himself while the witches in the basement bicker. Their ballad doesn't appear to have worked, and they're blaming it on each other's singing skills. The creepy figures eventually make their way into the home, causing Teen to freak out. And it's not hard to see why. For an MCU series, they're pretty damn scary and wouldn't look out of place in a horror movie. As the witches argue, they hear banging from upstairs, at which point they notice a glowing door beneath them that wasn't there before. They open it up, revealing a mystical staircase. But before they can build up the courage to jump in, Teen runs downstairs with the Salem 7 hot on his trail. He runs into the portal with no time to spare, and the rest of the gang, Sharon included, follow suit. Once the doors shut, the portal closes up, and they all tentatively approach what appears to be the Witch's Road. It's a beautiful, moonlit pathway, with all of them taking their shoes off as they prepare to get started on their journey.